The following video is classified as M. It contains middle-level coarse language. LJ Operations recommends viewing by a mature audience. It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon and welcome to LJ News. The chaos started early. 15-plus hour waits with no food or water provided to get into a campsite that was mostly underwater. No staff on site to lead cars through. No information from anyone with authority. As news outlets started relaying the miserable conditions of this year's Splendour in the Grass Festival, the event's latest Twitter update read, "You won't see any disposable cups at Splendour bars." Friends of ours who drove a campervan from Sydney couldn't even get through the gates. After 20 hours behind the wheel, as other cars ahead of them in a line ran out of petrol and or got bogged in the mud, they called it a night at 3:30 a.m. and slept in the Woolies underground car park. We were staying in an AirBnB. As we headed down to catch a bus to the venue next morning, news filtered out that day that one of the festival had been cancelled. Despite assurances hours earlier that it would go ahead, rain, hail, or shine, the poor campers who braved the night of water sports on site were appeased with a few DJ tents throbbing repetitive beats into their sleep-derived brains. Day 2 is a go, read the chirpy message posted to Splendour socials at 9:45 a.m. the next day. The site is weather affected. However, don't let it wash away your spirit. The update described the grounds as soft and recommended gumboots, but locals told us shops had sold out weeks earlier. Underplaying the reality of the situation was a constant theme that seemed deceptive at best and bordered on dangerous. The festival had been cancelled for the previous 2 years, and as the weekend drew closer, it weathered major last-minute lineup changes and liquor license controversy. The scrapped Friday lineup had included headliners, Gorillas, and the Avalanches. It's understandable the festival would want to scratch back as much money as they could. The party line was that there was a completely unforeseeable 1-in-50-year weather event. But Byron was underwater just a few months ago. There was clear risk involved in hosting 50,000 punters on the grounds. At 9:45 a.m. on day 2, Saturday, we were warned to prepare for bus delays, with some advice from the mega pumped Splendour socials. Rideshare or taxi are great options too. This was particularly infuriating. Splendour had sold bus tickets in advance at a cost of $20 a day. They had a literal count of how many buses they needed to provide. It would have cost us $304.70 to grab an Uber XL from our bus stop. Still, we persevered. I was preparing for the Strokes to be replaced by a local slam poet and told the creator to be subbed out for a jumbotron screen of the one where Ross asks out Rachel, but the sun was threatening to burst through the clouds and the wind had died down to a dull roar, so spirits weren't washed away as yet. Who knows? Maybe we wouldn't even be strip searched upon entry. Optimism is a hell of a drug. By mid-afternoon, it became clear the buses weren't going to arrive for hours. It took Energy Drink V and a merciful party bus, with an onboard DJ, free glitter makeup, and drag queens handling out hats and branded beach balls to actually get people to the festival. But they weren't allowed to drive the bus onto the grounds. Splendour was officially sponsored by a competing energy drink, the one that purports to give you wings. Wings would have been handy. Some music tents were inaccessible due to the sewerage-smelling creeks that pulled around them. When we finally arrived, the Splendour organizers were struggling to rein in the chaos. As we hopped off the party bus and wandered down the street, a staff member yelled at us to get off the fucking road, pointing for us to instead wade through shin-deep mud as to not block the non-existent buses. Once through the gates, there was no way to get into the grounds without wading through a slippery blend of mud, vomit, and piss, a knee-high horror bog that smelled of death and made you wish for it. People were openly pissing into the mud between food stalls, which poses a few more health and safety questions. As we walked towards the main stage areas, I passed by people on their way out. I saw tears. I saw blood. We looked to the Splendour socials for guidance. We're all here for the love of music. Be patient, be kind, and be safe. We had gold bar tickets, which promised some shelter from the storm for an extra $220 a pop. Alas, Splendour oversold these tickets, and the line to get in was more than 100 meters long. When we told the security guard we had paid for the access, he told us to line up or fuck off, angrily yelling the final two words. We gave up on the gold bar, and it turns out we didn't miss the avalanches, but instead of the band, it was an avalanche of humans slipping and falling down the steep muddy hill that noxious mud all over their faces, in their eyes, and in their mouths. The bus situation out of the side on Saturday night was even worse than on the way in. 7-hour queues for some, with people not getting home until dawn. Their stories littered the comments under well-lit photos of the fun day that were posted to Splendor's official Instagram feed. We got home at 6 a.m. from the bus disaster. Ruined so many people's day, wrote one person. Queued for a bus at 12 a.m. as I type this is 4:20 a.m. and I'm not even close to the end, wrote another. And from a third, no water for 3 hours. Couldn't get to toilets because we were packed in like sardines. Zero communication from any staff. Freezing cold. We know there's lines and that festivals aren't always glamorous, but this is unbelievably awful for everyone involved. The Strokes finished at the stroke of midnight. There were reports of people still waiting on the sign at 4 a.m., with hordes of others for buses they had already paid for. We bailed long before that, at 9 p.m., after seeing just one band, Violent Soho. They played an excellent greatest hits set, with almost every song sung back at them at top volume. All the frustrations over the weekend expelled in an energetic "Hell fuck yeah!" Many pundits were determined to enjoy themselves, and news footage shows some of them even succeeded. Not my friends and I. Our bus back to Barn was like a war hospital. Bloodied, muddied, shell-shocked people sitting in silence with 1,000-yard stares, shaking their heads every now and then. Nobody was talking. The only sound was that of a quiet rage. We didn't return for day 3.